Tom Kozlowski with you here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. And joining us, he'll be a part of the broadcast live from the Turning Stone Casino and Resort this Saturday for Showtime Boxing. Steve Farhood joins us. And Steve, tragic news in the world of boxing. A legend, Muhammad Ali, passes away. What's one of the best stories you've heard about Muhammad Ali over the past week?
Oh, geez, there have been so many. I mean, it's really remarkable how many people he touched, and I can give you a personal one. I covered his last two fights, and I was a young kid, really green and only 22, 23 years old, and I kind of felt like I don't belong here, because he had fought around the world, and all the writers I was surrounded by were grizzled veteran writers, and they had been around the world with him, so they knew him, on such a personal basis, and I felt like an interloper. But his last fight, as it turned out, was, in Nassau, the Bahamas, 1981, I guess it was, when he lost to Trevor Berbick. And the morning after the show, there was a press conference, and everybody realized, Muhammad included, that it really was the end. This was it. There would be no more fights. And I remember all these veteran writers, who had been around the world with him, they all had lumps in their throats. And Eddie Schuyler, who was the Associated Press boxing writer, started the proceedings by saying to Ali, "Champ, thanks for a hell of a ride." Wow. And it was like these guys were pretty tough guys, or they would have been crying, believe me, because everybody knew, something that was never going to happen again had just ended.
You talk about being almost like a young cub reporter there covering Ali. Did you get a chance to ask him a question or interact with him at all during your young part of your career?
Not too much then, but later on I did. I spent the day with him at Deer Lake, his famed, training camp in Pennsylvania, and I spent the day with him and some other writers at a grammar school in New York City where he interacted with all the young kids, and then I had some dealings with him during the Ring magazine when I was the editor of the 75th anniversary. He did taped a shooting for us, a little promo for it, so I got to spend some time with him. And, he was the kind of guy, it didn't matter that his ability to speak was so diminished. His presence was just so overwhelming, and I've never really been in the presence of anyone, sports or otherwise, who had that kind of effect on me.
Tom Kozlowski here, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. This Saturday, it's Showtime Boxing live from the Turning Stone Casino and Resort. And going to be a part of that broadcast is Steve Farhood, who joins us on the phone lines now. And Steve, let's preview this weekend's card. Some of the matchups that you're really looking forward to inside of the ring this Saturday night.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did a show on Showtime centering on 3 world championship fights at 154 pounds, junior middleweight. And we have one more top junior middleweight who's looking to get into that mix. He's a former world champion, and he'll be fighting on this show. His name is Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, and he's fighting Willie Nelson. It's a real good matchup. So basically, over the past, in 2-3 weeks, we've had 5 or 6 of the top 7 super junior middleweights on Showtime, and that's a fight that I'm really looking forward to. But the main event is potential fight of the year, which is Ruslan Provodnikov against John Molina. It's a junior welterweight fight. Both of them have been in fights of the year before, and it's one of those fights. Don't blink, because anything can happen, and it's going to be very violent while it lasts. How long it lasts, I don't know. But it's funny we're talking now, because one of the fighters that I just mentioned is walking by me right now, Willie Nelson. So good luck, Willie. See you later. But, the main event is fantastic. So I just got to Turning Stone, by the way.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoy about covering fights at the Turning Stone. I'll be there Saturday night as well, tweeting out from @TomGoz, TomGozz, for all your coverage here at 104.5 The Team. And one of the things, and maybe you see the same way, that at the Turning Stone, if you're a fan, if you're a media member, how close you can get to, whether it be a boxer, a trainer, somebody in the media, that you just have that feel like, all right, you don't know who's going to come up to you next during that weekend, especially with Hall of Fame weekend as well there up at Canastota.
Oh, yeah, the combination of the two is fantastic. I mean, I know this isn't the first time that there have been professional fights around a Hall of Fame weekend, but you're right. I mean, boxing is unique in that way, in that, if you go to see an NBA championship game or an NFL playoff game, you're not going to be mingling with the players, but in boxing it's different. I mean, Willie Nelson just walked by, and I'm sure if I were a fan and went up to him, he would have given me 5 minutes, so it's pretty cool. It makes it different, and Turning Stone is a great venue for that, because it's wide open here, and all the fighters are staying here, and a lot of the fans, I guess, who are going to the Hall of Fame are staying here as well. So it's the perfect mix, and it's a great weekend.
The induction ceremony is on Sunday. That class going in, do you have memories about some of the boxers and other people involved in the 2016 Boxing Hall of Fame class?
Well, the big name going in, of course, unfortunately, is going in posthumously, and that's Hector Camacho. And, you know, he was a pure New Yorker like me. And I remember being at his pro debut at the Felt Forum at the Garden, you know, years and years ago. And I do remember very specifically, I said, I saw this kid, and he had a combination of incredible skills and speed and charisma. You know, there was no ignoring Hector Camacho. He was going to demand, much like Ali, he was going to demand that you paid attention to him. And it's very sad that, you know, he's not with us anymore, but I'm glad he's going into the Hall of Fame. I believe he's very deserving of it. And he was a really, really good fighter, maybe early in his career, a great fighter who never really realized his full potential, but a little bit self-destructive, but nonetheless, I'm glad he's going in, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Showtime Boxing is this Saturday, live from the Turning Stone Casino and Resort in Verona. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Canastota is on Sunday, and joining us, he's a part of the Showtime telecast on Saturday night. Steve Farhood joins us. And Steve, there have been rumors in boxing about one of the biggest stars. He's been at the Turning Stone before for his past promotions, and that's Floyd Mayweather Jr. There's been talk about him maybe having some type of fight with UFC fighter Conor McGregor. It's someone you've covered before, you've interviewed before. Do you ever see that happening? Floyd Mayweather having this super fight against Conor McGregor?
From Floyd's perspective and from Conor McGregor's perspective, I think they'd love for it to happen because they'd make a lot of money. You'd be getting a lot of boxing fans buying the pay-per-view, and you'd be getting a lot of UFC fans doing it. But I can't see it happening. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is the best boxer of his generation, and for anybody, for a state athletic commission even, to license a Conor McGregor to fight him when Conor McGregor is not a boxer, has never been a boxer, even though most of his work as a mixed martial artist is apparently stand-up and boxing, it's still a different sport. And I just can't see it happening. I think a lot of the rumors about it have been, you know, started by Mayweather and kept his name out there and make Conor McGregor bigger, and they were testing the waters to see if there really was something there. So I think it would sell, but I don't think it'll happen.
It's a big boxing weekend, about an hour and change away from us west here in Albany. It's Canastota Hall of Fame weekend at Showtime Boxing Saturday night at the Turning Stone. If you can't get out to the Turning Stone Casino, make sure to watch it on Showtime Television. Steve Farhood will be a part of that coverage. Steve, best of luck. Hopefully I'll bump into you this weekend, and take care and enjoy the fights.
All right. Thanks for having me on. We'll talk to you soon.